Nutricide, The Nutritional Destruction of the Black Race by Dr. Laila Afrika. Dr. Imhotep, Laila Afrika. I believe this is the second edition. Under chapter 1, titled Nutricide. The second section is titled The African Woman Nutricide / Cultural Genocide. Page 39. The African Woman Nutricide / Cultural Genocide. African men and women are faced with one reality, that is to rid African culture of nutritional and cultural genocide. Male sexism against the African woman obviously exploits, oppresses, and denies African women her rights. Currently, the African woman is assumed a slave of a slave. That is the African man, slave of the African man. Seasoning, now I see what they're talking about. Seasoning, which is a term they used to use, for women, whatever. Seasoning during slavery caused the mental enslavement of men and women. It needs to be eliminated. A holistic balance requires new words and deeds of behavior from the African man. Reparations for years of African relationships, spiritual, mental, physical, and cultural genocide are necessary yet risky. Risky because the new definition for the African man's mental, spiritual, and social cleansing has not yet been defined. This cannot be defined until the woman/man unity effort puts holistic cleansing in motion. A spiritual dis-ease that caused the African man to act upon himself and upon the African woman with mutilation, called infibulation, excision, hair relaxers, circumcision, earrings, bleaching cream, nose rings, and high heels makes the African woman's physical body a sacrifice. Black male sexism, as well as female feminism, requires the power to have human rights. Page 40. Human rights and civil rights can only be guaranteed by a group that has control over resources and land. There are no individual or relationship rights and freedom without a group to protect the rights and freedoms. The African male and female can only imitate Caucasian relationship problems. The African male and female can only imitate Caucasian relationship problems and assume they are their own problems. That's an assumption. It's not the truth. It is the same as the slave saying, "Master, we are sick." Sexism and feminism are merely former slave individuals and relationship methods of coping with and confronting racism and slavery trauma in each other and in relationship. It is a mechanism to decide a conquer. It is a mechanism to divide and conquer. Typically, the relationship is based upon confusion or love. Love defined by let me read that again. Typically, the relationship is based upon confusion or love. Love, defined by Caucasians, is a mysterious feeling and accidental falling in lust or love, a battle of the sexes, and a heavenly confusing thing. A Caucasian. I'm sorry. Caucasian love, used by Africans, creates confusion resulting in divorces, adultery, destroyed children, and destroyed culture. The social customs, rituals, ceremonies, dance, music, makeup, artifacts, clothes, monogamy, polygamy, and current Afrocentric values must be disrupted. Lives upset and must be disrupted. Lives upset and a new holistic order enacted. The African woman and man's current spirit was not ma'at or mother bonded. They are not breastfed 3 to 5 years. The man was not married to the African woman by the family or the elders' decision process. He was not fed natural foods. He was not trained in the rites of passage. He has been under Nutricide. He does not. Where am I at? I lost my place. Use sexual regeneration. He erotically looks at other buttocks where manure evacuates, her cellulite legs and milk-feeding breasts, and uses Caucasian romance instead of spiritualized unity. He demands that women wear makeup and high heels and allows the woman to be assumed by PMS as a norm. Read that part again. He demands that women wear makeup and high heels and allows the woman to be abused by PMS as a norm. The African man today cannot behave as he did in the past. The African man must defeat his acts of enslavement of the African woman. Furthermore, the African man must live and act according to a new woman/man order whose Ma'at definition is yet to unfold. Page 41. The white supremacy of Page 41. The white supremacy of the Caucasian has a total effect upon the African man/woman relationship. The relationship is not normal because it is under Caucasian siege. with psychological battlefield conditions. The African man, you know, somebody should write a book and instead of putting African, it should put American. They need to do that. Maybe I should do it right now. Let me do that. Yo, this is funny. Okay. The American man suffers from the side effects of racism and nutricide, which impacts the American woman with enslavement. He lives in a culture that alienates him and his mate from adulthood. In turn, he alienates the American woman from her womanhood. The American man suffers from the effects of being inferiorized by the Caucasian man. Now it makes a lot of sense, don't it? He has withdrawn from the traumatic, that's how you spell traumatic, right? He has withdrawn from the traumatic, emotional, mental, and spiritual impact of slavery. In this distortion, the African man suffers from nutricide. The American man suffers from nutricide. The American woman's intellectual and emotional partnership with the American man is believed to be controlled by the moon instead of Ma'at. The use of the moon as a timing device of the galaxy can indicate changes. The moon's sunlight reflection has an impact on water, tides, and menstruation. Ironically, the American man's body has 10% more water than the woman. That's interesting. I thought it was the opposite. And the woman has 10% more fat, earth attribute, than the man. So, it would follow that the man's body would respond to the moon with equal, if not greater force than the woman's. I never thought about it that way. I'm going to read that over, the whole paragraph, twice. It must also be taken into consideration that the man's body is half female and in hormonal and anatomical structure. The role of the woman is an equal partner against racism is defined by whites as a sort of slave. This is based on Caucasian religious beliefs, superstitions, and mainly chauvinism.
I like it, baby. I like it.